Look at how good this baby is at sitting. Just look at how comfortable they are playing with toys and looking around at their family. Hello, parents. Welcome to Tummy Time Academy. I'm Dr. Tim, pediatric physical therapist, and today we're going to be going over two things. First one, we're going to review the strategies a baby uses to not fall over. And second, I'll teach you 4 exercises ranging from beginner to expert level that you can do to help your baby's balance. When I'm assessing a child's balance, I'm looking to see how well they can maintain their center of mass over their base of support. So when a child falls, it can pretty much be defined as when their center of mass falls outside of their base of support and then they have their tumble. And so the first strategy a baby uses to work on their balance is something called the righting reaction. So let's just say, for example, that we have a 7-month-old and our family decided that we are going to buy a small little kitten. Let's call a kitten a name. How about we call it Skittles, for example? And little Skittles is so playful, she bumps into our baby just enough that when baby's sitting, they kind of move over a little bit, and to bring themselves back into a comfortable sitting position, they tilt their head, and then it brings them back into center. That is called the righting reaction. Now, as an exercise, what we can do, we can play around with this motion, right? All they did was move their neck. So let's say we have baby sitting in front of me in the ring sit position, and I'm gonna use one hand around their chest and then the other hand around a toy and encourage them to move their head. So we can work on this tracking motion with baby looking towards the right, looking towards the left, and if they have any loss of balance from that small disturbance of moving their head, then you may find that they'll use their head to correct themselves. So the second strategy a baby uses for balance is called the tilting reaction. All right, let's say we have Skittles again. Skittles bumps into our baby, but this time Skittles is like 6 months old. She's a bigger cat, and it's just enough force that baby falls over a little bit. And what they try to do is, again, that righting reaction by tilting their head, but it's not enough to correct their balance. So instead, they use their core to side bend to bring them back up. So by using their core alongside with their neck, they get back into a safe spot when they're not going to fall over. And again, that is called the tilting reaction. And one exercise that I would consider more of like a novice level exercise, we can have our baby sitting in front of us again and then place toys within their reach, so they're forced to side bend to one way, grab a toy, and then use their core muscles and their neck muscles to bring them back into center. You can try this on both sides to make sure they don't develop any asymmetries. Now, the third strategy is probably one of my more favorite ones to work on. This is called the equilibrium reaction. And for the equilibrium reaction, we would still consider it like a medium to large disturbance to their balance, but instead of having Skittles create that disturbance, what happens is that the surface that baby is either sitting on or standing on actually moves around. So I'm going to give you an example, and you can actually use this as your next level advanced exercise. Let's say we have baby sitting on an exercise ball. Of course, I'm going to be using my hands to support them because we can't expect anybody to sit on an exercise ball without falling over, unless you're like a pretty high level gymnast or something like that. So we have baby sitting, hands are supported. Now the surface or the exercise ball that they're sitting on, we're going to rotate that left and right. And what we would expect baby to do is use that righting reaction of their neck to try to bring themselves back into midline. However, that's not going to be enough. So then we're going to see them use their core to bring themselves even into more midline. and that is the equilibrium response. And the last and final strategy a baby uses for balance is called the protective response or protective reaction. Now, this is a reaction that a baby will use for an extra large disturbance to their balance. So let's take Skittles, for example. Let's say Skittles loves to eat. It's just a cat that will eat cups and cups of food, you know, belly kind of hanging down, kind of dragging on the floor. Maybe it's like useful because it's like a broom. I have a cat like this, and yeah. So this cat, although large, is really playful. We have baby sitting, Skittles running around, and bumps into baby. And then it's a large enough of a bump that baby starts to fall over. They try to use their righting reaction, their head, to tilt over. It's not enough. They try to use their tilting reaction of their core. It's not enough. And they keep falling over until, bam, they put their hand on the ground to catch themselves. That is the protective response or protective reaction. You know, if they didn't put their hand down, then that would be a tumble, and maybe that would make baby start to have a cry or tantrum or something like that. And so what the baby did right there by moving that hand down is that they widened their base of support. Initially, it was just their butt on the floor, right? That is their base of support. However, when they went over, put that hand down, their base of support increased from the width of their butt over to where their hand is. And now their center of mass, when they're falling over, is again falling within that base of support. So an example of an exercise, and this is an expert exercise. This is very difficult for kiddos who don't quite yet have that protective response, but you are working on teaching them this. So what we're gonna do is, again, have baby sitting in between your lap and then work on toys, but this time we're gonna put the toys outside of their reach. So when they go to reach, it's gonna initiate them starting to fall over, and then they have to plant their hands down on the floor to catch themselves, and then they can use their other arm to reach across the toy if they're at that more of an advanced level. So that is the protective response. So let's do a quick summary. Beginner exercise number 1 is that righting reaction, having them balance with support and then having their neck turn around to create that small disturbance. Number 2 is the tilting reaction, or more of that novice exercise time, and that's when they're getting their core involved. So what we'll do is place toys around them within their base of support, or within their ability to reach for these toys, so then they can move over a little bit, use their head, use their core to bring them back to midline. Number 3, one of my personal favorites to work on, is the equilibrium reaction. And this one, we're gonna put them on a surface that we're gonna manipulate to move. So this is more at an advanced level exercise. You would have baby sitting on something like an exercise ball, give them the support, shift them left and right, and then you can see them react using their neck and using their core to, again, bring them back in the midline. And then number 4, our last one, is going to be the protective response or the protective reaction. This is when a baby's presented with an extra large disturbance to their balance. So what we can do is put toys outside of their reach and then have them attempt to reach for it. However, if they lose their balance, then they'll provide them with an opportunity to plant their hand on the floor and then maybe even reach across their body using their other hand for that toy. If you like this video, then please hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you want more videos like this. Otherwise, if you're looking to improve your baby's sitting even more and you want to talk more about core strength, then check out my video right over here where I break down the levels of core strength for your baby and where you can position your hands to help them. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next video and have a wonderful day.